Hey guys, this is Sandy. I'm a licensed realtor here in the Central Florida area. Today I want to do a video on, is it worth it to get solar? There's so much controversial stuff going on with solar. It's good, it's not so good. Some people are thinking, or some people are saying, if they finance it, a lot of times the monthly payment that they're financing or that amount of money is the same amount of money they would be paying the electric company for, and all this great stuff. So let's talk about that for a little bit. And you can also leave your comment below. Remember to follow us and remember to click on that little notification bell so you'll be notified each time we put up a new video. So let's talk about it. We're in Florida and there are certain states that are great for solar, Florida being one of them. And two of the things that they look for, if you have southern exposure, even though northern exposure could be good as well. And they also look for how much sun is hitting your roof, because the more sun that's hitting your roof, the better the solar would be, right? Also, if you're considering solar, make sure you're not going to put the solar on an older roof. It's always a great idea to have a roof that's 5 years or newer if you're putting solar on, because that way you don't have to worry about taking off the solar and replacing them back on the roof. There's also an issue with insurance, because if something is wrong with your roof and your insurance company knows that there's solar on it, they're going to probably blame the solar company, saying it's not their fault, it's a solar company, and all this great stuff. So there's a lot of things to explore and to understand about solar. Now, obviously, solar in its rightful place is great, because if you don't have to pay a utility bill, an electric bill, and all you have to do is enjoy solar, and you pay, what, $15 a month, if that. The utility company also have an amount you pay each month. It's like a service. It's like service is the service they charge to carry the electricity from the road into your home. And I believe that's sometimes $35 a month in some areas. Every area is different, right? There's also some electric company that will allow you to sell them back to the grid. So if you collected more electricity than you need in your home, you could sell it back to the grid. I don't believe Florida is one of those states. I don't think they allow you to sell it back to the grid in Florida. So there's some things to consider. Another thing is, though, utility bills are going up high, and that's a fact. I mean, what I'm paying in utility bill now is like so much more than what I was paying a year or even before that. Like, I feel like from 2020 after COVID, everything just kind of exploded, including our utility bill. And so now we want to explore solar. So when you're deciding on which company to use for solar, you want to make sure you understand every single fine line, right? Especially if you're financing it. Doesn't even matter if you're buying it outright. You want to understand everything that's going on. And so let's talk about solar as it relates to real estate. So is it going to increase the value of your home? Not necessarily. Not necessarily at all. And in this market that we're in, because interest rates are high, the buyers are going to be looking for the sellers to pay off the solar note. They don't necessarily want to take it over, but it is transferable. So you could transfer it to the buyer. So if the buyer is okay with that, you could transfer the loan. If you finance it and you're selling your home, you could transfer it to the buyer, as long as the buyer is able to qualify for their mortgage and also taking on that loan, because the mortgage bank will see that as a debt to income. They will use it against debt to income as well. So that's going to be super important. Now, the good thing about it being a lien against the property, because that's another question I get, is it's a lien, but it is not a lien that needs to be paid off when you transfer title. So like if you got a second mortgage on the home, you'd have to pay it off. If you got an equity line of credit on the home, you have to pay these things off at the closing table in order for you to transfer title to the buyer. But with solar, you could transfer the loan to the buyer without paying off the loan, without paying off that loan. That's allowable, okay? You can also lease the solar. Now, when you lease the solar, it's normally a long leasing period, like, I don't know, 99 years, something crazy, 30 years or something like that. Not 99 years, I'm kidding with that. But it's normally a long lease term, and a lot of the leases sometimes don't allow you to transfer. Some do, so you got to be careful with that. If you're going to purchase the solar, they're going to take your electric bill, and they're going to try to calculate the amount of electricity you use in 1 year and average that out to how much solar panels you will need to cover your home. And I'm going to suggest this. If you're going to get solar panels, make sure you're going to be living in the home for quite a while, right? So you could at least get the usage. Because it makes no sense for you to get the solar panels, you sell the home in less than 5 years, you end up having to pay off for the solar, so the buyer that's buying the home is who's going to get the benefit, not you, right? So that's not the best idea. If you have to, you got to do what you got to do. I understand that, but it's not the best idea if you don't have to do that. So that's what I would suggest with that. Now, when it comes to solar, again, you got to be careful with the companies you're using. Make sure you understand exactly what the fine prints are. Make sure if you're telling them, okay, my roof is new now, I intend to live in my home for a while. What's going to happen in the next, say, 15 years if I want to replace the roof? Or you guys going to come and take the solar off, have us redo the roof and then put it back on? You need to know this thing. If something gets wrong with one of the panels, let's say two of the panels isn't working correctly, who is responsible for replacing that? Is it you or is it the solar company? So these are some of the things you need to find out. Now, we do work with a solar company, and the solar company we work with, they're very, very defiant in their fine lines. They want to make sure you know every single thing that's going on. They're very workable. So all the things I'm discussing, they answer some of those questions as well. So if you have any questions or comment about solar, you could definitely let us know. We should have a number up here somewhere below, and then we'll just put you right on to the company we work with and see it, and you could compare them with any other company you're working with to see what makes better sense for you. Because at the end of the day, your decision has to be what's best for you and nobody else, right? Because it's going to be your bill. So those are some of the things to consider. Now, once you have the solar, you want to make sure you get a backup battery. And here's why. If you have solar and we lose electricity, whether it be from a hurricane or whatever it's from, if you have a backup battery, that backup battery will still give your home power while the power is out. And based upon how long the power is out for will determine how long you'll have power for, but you'll still have power in the backup battery. Another thing to consider is this. Let's say you're buying a home and they had solar panel on the home, but it was a single guy with a dog that lived there, right? So it was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. It was a single guy or girl with a dog, and he didn't really use much. He didn't really have much people visit him, only maybe over the holidays. So he didn't have that much of a usage of electricity when he did the solar. Now let's say you buy the home from him, and now you have mom, dad, and 3 kids and a dog. So there's 5 people instead of 1. So there's some solar company, including the ones that we are affiliated with, that will come in and then they will add more panels on, right? They could increase it to make sure that you're also covered. So that's also something to be aware of. So if you're buying a home, you want to make sure you find out from the homeowner how many people were in your home and what was the electricity thing that you were doing to make sure that it will also cover you. Because it may be good for them, but when you get in there, you might end up getting an electric bill because it wasn't enough solar panels or enough power coming from the solar energy for you. So there's a lot of questions to do with solar, right? A lot of stuff. But it is a good thing if you're in Florida and your roof have enough sunshine or is positioned in the correct elevation or direction, it may be a great way to save money, because we all know the utility bills are only getting higher and higher. And a lot of times when you finance with the solar, the bill remains the same. So if it comes out to $200 or $300 per month, that's all you'd pay to finance. You would not pay, it's not like with the electric bill where it may be low in the winter months. And yeah, we do have a little bit of winter in Central Florida. We do. And it could be higher in the summer months, right? So it could be like lower between October to March, let's say. And then the electric bill is way higher between March to like September. So at least with the solar bill, you have one constant bill. So that's another thing to consider as well. So lots of things to consider, lots of food for thoughts. If you have any questions, or let me know what your comment is about solar down below. But we do have a company that we work with that will be able to help you with some of your questions as well. Thank you so much for listening, guys. I will see you on the next video.